What is going on, Sports Wars? Sunday. XFL Sunday. A little late, a couple minutes late, but that's to be expected. That's normal for me, but that's all right. Mute the stream. There we go. What's going on? Let's wait and see who shows up. Got a couple things to talk about today in the lead up to the big game. We got a big matchup. Dallas and Houston, the Texas Showdown. The teams that I think are the two best, probably at least the two best in the XFL, finally going to show down here, and we'll see what happens. I've been enjoying watching the XFL for sure. Been enjoying it greatly. We got a couple things on the docket. You can see in the thumbnail if you saw that. Can talk a little Tom Brady, little NBA beef. Little NBA beef with James Harden and Giannis. I think that might be what we talk about first, actually. And we'll probably do XFL last. All right. Make sure. Yep, sounds good. Perfect. All right. So let's pull it up here. Actually, let me tweet out the stream really quick. Copy that. All right. Live on Sports Wars, because that's where we're at. Live on Sports Wars. Boom. There it is. Sports Wars Live on a Sunday. All right. And I see, there we go. NASCAR Cup race at the same time. Hammy 906. I saw that. People complaining about how much Tony Romo is getting paid. Like, come on. There's always got to be something to complain about. I like Michael Thomas. I like Michael Thomas a lot, in fact. And that dude just got paid for sure. I think he just got paid for sure. Now, do I think that $17 million is a lot for Tony Romo? Yeah, but at the same time, I mean, Fox is the one paying him. That has nothing to do, absolutely zero to do with NFL salary. I don't know why he's bitching about it, to be quite honest with you. Seems ridiculous. R3353M. Sup, Ryan and other sports people. What's up? What is up? Guys, if you're just getting here, smash the like button. Let everybody know you're here. Share the stream out so we can get that out to as many people as possible. We're going to be talking NBA. We're going to be talking NFL Combine just a little bit. If you missed one of the best Combine days I've ever seen for a dude, we're going to check that out. And then we're also going to take a couple Tom Brady rumors. And then we'll talk XFL in the lead up to the XFL game. Talk about the lead up to the XFL game for sure. All right. So let's talk a little Harden first. Let's talk a little bit of James Harden. Actually, hold on. Check my messages. All right, we're good. All right, share the screen. Share audio. What is that? That's going to give somebody a seizure. Why is it doing that? Let's try it again. Second time's a charm. That looks better, doesn't it? All right. Real quick, we have a $2 super chat from Stone Cold Jeremy. What's going on? Yo, Ryan, what's up? What's up, Stone Cold Jeremy? We are here on an XFL Sunday talking a little bit of sports, a little bit of the big things that have gone down this week, and we'll finish up with a little pregame for this XFL game. Thank you very much for that super chat. I really appreciate it. All right, so now James Harden made some comments recently specifically about Giannis. And he seemed pretty upset about it, and there's a reason for that. This is from weeks and weeks ago. This is when Team Giannis and Team LeBron, the team captains, are making their picks for the All-Star game. Let's hear what Giannis had to say And as well as some of the other TNT guys, they're talking in here too. Let's see what they have to say.
I'm between Kemba and Trae Young.
So you can see they're picking. There's only 3 names still on the board: James Harden, Kemba Walker, and Trae Young. Now, James Harden, I mean, he's probably much more accomplished than any of those guys, right? But Giannis says, it's between those guys for me.
Wait, you don't want the dribbler?
I want somebody that's going to pass the ball. That's what I want.
So Charles, chimes in, says, what, you don't want the dribbler? You don't want the guy that dribbles all the time, meaning James Harden? And he said, no, I want somebody who's actually going to pass the ball. That's what Giannis says.
So I'm going to go with crossover killer, step back master, Kemba Walker.
Kemba Walker.
All right.
All right, so that was several weeks ago. There was a lot of talk also during the All-Star game about Giannis, about what he says, or about what he said about James Harden. Says he doesn't really respect him, says he doesn't play any defense, told his entire team to basically attack whoever, or for anyone who James Harden is guarding, to be the one that they're going to run their offense to in the fourth quarter. It turned out not to work so well because they ended up losing, but that is a different story. Now, James was asked a couple things by Rachel Nichols about those comments made by Giannis and the staff at TNT. And James Harden takes it pretty personally, I'm going to be honest. He takes it pretty personally. Let's hear his response.
Win games, and that's what we'll be trying to do.
You do have people talking about some of the stereotypes that have blown up around you. Charles Barkley, when they had the All-Star draft, was saying, no one wants to take James Harden. He's a dribbler.
So that's the same stuff we just heard, right?
Giannis Antetokounmpo makes a joke on the air about, I want to take someone who can pass. I'm taking Kemba Walker instead of James Harden.
I average more assists than him, I think.
You ranked 10th in assists going into the All-Star break, and Kemba ranked 36th in assists going into the All-Star break.
So there you have it right there. He knows what these comments are from. He already knows that he averages more assists than Kemba Walker. So he's been listening.
So I don't see what the joke is, but I didn't even see it. I don't pay attention to stuff like that. I just know none of them can mess with me.
Well, Daryl Morey, your general.
So he says he doesn't hear it, says he doesn't pay attention to it, but kind of sounds like he is paying attention to it. He was pretty quick with that response.
Manager had a great line to kind of address all of that. He said, being different doesn't really get appreciated until it works.
Yeah, or when I'm done. When it's all said and done, they'll appreciate it more. But I wish I could just run.
Now, then he says this, and this is a direct dig. There's no doubt this is a direct dig at Giannis Antetokounmpo. Let's hear it.
Running with 7 feet and running just dunk. Like, that takes no skill at all. I got to actually learn how to play basketball, how to have skill, I take that any day.
Do you think that in the end, a title is going to give you the respect that you think you deserve?
I mean, it is, and I will get it.
You feel confident about that?
Yes.
There you have it. So that is why all this Harden Giannis stuff started brewing. Now, we've actually, since that happened, people have been digging a lot more. People have been digging a lot more into the history of these guys. So some things that happened during the All-Star game where it looked like Giannis gave Harden quite a little shove. Another one where, Giannis and Harden were playing Houston versus Bucks, and, Giannis shoots a big air ball, and Harden makes a big deal about it, that it was an air ball. So there's definitely been something brewing between these guys for a while, and it didn't really come out until now. But, now that it's coming out, it's fun to watch. Now, I am a sucker for NBA drama. I think that's one of the most fun things. One of the most fun things to kind of pay attention to, because these guys have egos. There's no doubt about it. No doubt about it that these guys have egos. Fandom Menace, what's up? You're asking about MLB extra innings. I don't know if I have that. I do have the MLB package. I know, since I'm a season ticket holder for the Padres, the MLB TV thing comes. I think it comes with it, so I need to check that and make sure I have it for this season as well. But that is the James Harden, Giannis Antetokounmpo stuff that's going on right there. And I had an article pulled up. I don't know where it went. I want to talk about Tom Brady next. Because there's been so much talk about touchdown Tom Brady. Oh, that's from Boston, of course. Of course, they're going to say that. But it seems like everybody has a different opinion. Tons of people, especially with the combine, had been hearing that Tom Brady's basically ready to move on. And I just don't know how that can be the case. To me, if I'm Tom Brady, where am I going to go? Where am I going to go that I trust? Where am I going to trust that they can give me the same thing the Patriots have given me for so long? Let's look at this. This is a CNN article, I think. Here, let's share this. No, Anderson Cooper. I don't want my news summarized each morning. Get out of here. All right. The big question continues to loom. Where will Tom Brady play next season? The New England Patriots set to become a free agent, and speculations in full effect. Will he return to the Patriots, teaming up again with Bill Belichick, the most winningest duo in history? Or will Brady, who turns 43, make the move to a new team? Even Giselle doesn't know. She put on an Instagram story very recently. I'd love to know where I'm going to be living this year, but I don't know that yet. Hopefully somewhere nice and where my husband's happy playing. And here we go. This is really what I wanted to see. Jeff Darlington. Those close to Brady are being told by the player himself he's going elsewhere. That's what's being put out there. What I personally believe, I'll blow this up so you guys can see it a little better. Whoops. What I personally believe is that Brady is having his people put that out there to force New England's hand. I see Nathan Childress think something similar maybe. I just don't buy that he would want to start over with a new team, a new organization that he doesn't trust or believe in. I think there's so much more to lose by Tom Brady going to a different team than there is to gain. I think even if he has a couple below average years at New England to finish this out, I think he's still going to be considered the GOAT by, most people. Somewhere nice and where my husband is happy playing. Those are pretty passive aggressive words. Yeah. Well, let's continue on and see what a couple other people have said. This is what Jeff Darlington said. We need to wrap our minds around the fact that it is more likely than not that Tom Brady will not be back with the Patriots, Darlington said on Get Up. He continued by adding, I am now at the point where I would be stunned if Tom Brady returns to the Patriots. I would be stunned if he didn't, to be quite honest. Ian Rappaport reported that Brady's agent Don Yee was meeting with teams this week at the NFL Scouting Combine in Indianapolis, Indiana. Rappaport said that those teams include the Chargers, the Vegas Raiders, and the Indianapolis Colts. Chargers, Raiders, or Colts. Now tell me, chat, if you could pick those three teams or the Patriots, so 4 teams, which one would you go to if you're Tom Brady? And I see Stone Cold Jeremy. Why not? Peyton Manning did, maybe to prove that he can do it too. Well, that's a very different circumstance. They had Andrew Luck. And Peyton Manning was injured. He was just coming over injured. They didn't know if he'd be able to grab the ball again, to be quite honest. The Colts moved on from him because they had somebody waiting in the wings. They were going to draft Andrew Luck. Whereas the Brady situation, who did they have to replace him? Nobody. I guess they could draft a guy this year. Could they sell the farm and move up in the draft to get like Justin Herbert or something? Maybe. We've got My Nerdy Home in the house. Thank you for supporting, Steph. Appreciate that. Rhodes says, I won't believe he's leaving until he leaves. Exactly. That's where I'm at. I just don't buy it. Not even for $1. You called LA months ago. You'll stay with your pick. There's no way if I'm Tom Brady. Listen, I live an hour and a half away from Chargers training camp. I live in San Diego. Now, there's not a lot of Chargers love here. That's for sure. But I can't see him going to the Chargers. That is such a dysfunctional organization. Why would he want to go there? With the offensive line that's just decimated. Got good skill position players. Yeah. But you're not going to have the support of a front office like you do at New England. Yeah, you're not going to have a line. I don't know. I can't imagine Brady going there. Can't imagine it happening. I get that he wants skill position play. I think that's what he's doing. I think he's leveraging his position to get to those skill position players. That's the only thing that makes sense in my mind. While agents are not allowed to discuss free agents until March 16th, he does have other clients and he can talk to teams about their own players. The new league year and free agency period begins at 4 p.m. Eastern, March 18th. That's a long way away still. That is a long way away. Long way away to figure out what Tom Brady is going to do. So for me, if I was going to choose just your gut feeling, yeah. Yeah, the Chargers ownership is a dumpster fire. 100% they are. 100%. But we were just talking about the NFL Combine a little bit. I wanted to pull up that clip so you guys can see it. I think it's here. We had a video that went off on Sports Wars. Absolutely went off on Sports Wars yesterday. And that was the Isaiah Simmons. Here we go. Got it right here. Probably got to play an ad or some crap first, like but I want to show you guys try this. Our trashy back ribs? Yeah, we're going to just do a lab. Because Isaiah Simmons put on a freaking show yesterday, man. A freaking show. Like, can't believe at that size what he was able to do. Let me rewind this a little bit. All right. Here we go. Let's watch this from Isaiah Simmons, who's 238 freaking pounds out of Clemson. 4.39. I believe that was officially a 4.38 when it was all said and done. That is absolute insanity, man. He looks just like a freaking stud. Now, this is a guy who, depending on whose rankings you look at, could be, some people's top 5, some people's top 10. This has to solidify him in the top 5, unless you have a couple teams that move up for quarterbacks, things like that. You never know. Say Burrow, Tua, and Herbert, all go in the top 5. Maybe you have a guy. Maybe you have a guy like Isaiah Simmons that falls back a couple spots, but 11-foot broad jump, almost a 40-inch vertical leap. I don't think you guys even got to see it that well. Been experimenting with this this different view here. Okay, you can see just how smooth he is. Smooth, long strides, 4.39. Crazy. You could run that fast, but you're too lazy. Yeah, I wish I could run that fast. What did I do? I ran like a 5.1 or a 5.2 or something at I went to Chargers training camp, and I ran. They had a little thing you could do the 40. And I ran like a 5.1 one time, and then all the other ones were like 5.5. It was probably just wrong that one time. I wish I could go that fast. These are some of their winners and stuff. This is Todd McShay. Biggest risers and stuff like that. Jordan Brooks did have a pretty good run. People were praising him because at 240 he ran a 4.54. And then Isaiah Simmons, freaking 4.39. God, that's crazy. That's insane. Wow, we knew Simmons was going to own the combine, but he outdid himself on Saturday. A 4.39 40 time is cruising. It's the second sub 4.4 40 from a linebacker since 2006, Shaquem Griffin, who does not weigh 240. And a third one amongst players at least 6'3 and 230, Calvin Johnson and Vernon Davis. God, Vernon Davis could fly. That's nuts. Simmons chose to skip his second run, and you can't blame him. Why risk an injury when you show that much speed on your first? For sure. He also reached 11 feet in the broad jump and 39 inches in the vertical. Simmons and Willie Gay Jr. became the second and third linebackers to hit those marks since 2014. Simmons is a top 5 pick, and his workout is only going to churn up some chatter about the Lions at number 3, if not only confirm the Giants at number 4 talk. On the field, he tallied 8 sacks, 102 tackles, 16 tackles for loss, 8 pass breakups, 3 picks, and a forced fumble. Now he has one of the best workouts from a linebacker we've ever seen. So, for sure, a great day for Isaiah Simmons. And then I did want to talk about someone else, too, that ran the other day. Let's see if he's in here. Jonathan Taylor. Jonathan Taylor is who I also wanted to talk about, from Wisconsin. Here, let's see. It's probably going to want it. Yeah, we'll mute that. We'll let this ad play for a second. But Jonathan Taylor from Wisconsin is somebody that I worry a little bit about. I worry a little bit about him because of how much usage he has had at Wisconsin. He's a guy who's ran over 2,000 yards the past 2 years. That's a lot. That's a lot of usage. It's a lot of time on those legs. And it's not easy running in the Big Ten all the time either. But this definitely had to really impress people and solidify him on that draft board as well. Let's watch his run.
Good dude from New Jersey into Wisconsin, coming off of back-to-back 2,000-yard seasons. That is no joke. Jonathan Taylor.
All right, here we go.
Back-to-back 2K.
That is correct.
You go to Wisconsin if you want to run that tater. Run that tater. Tote that peel.
He's a home run hitter on tape.
Just a good human.
Now, it looks like he's pushing so much harder than Isaiah Simmons. He ends up running 4.41. That's the unofficial time. It ended up being 4.39 as well.
4.41 for Jonathan Taylor.
But Jonathan Taylor.
Yeah. Hey, Mark, let me just tell you real quick.
A guy at 226. That's good for him, too, for that running back to get less than 4.4. That's big for him. Going to probably move him up that draft board, possibly, especially when you look at the rest of the running backs that perform. But I will say people will be worried. The same thing I'm worried about, that same concern with all that usage. So Taylor had some serious wheels. His 4.39 makes him the third fastest combine running back at 225 since 2006. Niall Davis and Mario Fannin. Now, I don't know how much that will bode well for him, but right now Taylor's the number 35 in my rankings, my third best running back, but that top tier is close. He's an instinctive between the tackles runner with good patience and burst, and now NFL teams know exactly how fast he can be when he turns upfield. After racking up another 2,000 yards season, the great career at Wisconsin, scoring 21 times in 2019, Taylor really impressed and is poised to be an early day 2 pick. I could see somebody possibly coming up and taking him in the end of the first round with what he did. I do see that as a possibility. Still likely too, because let's be real, running backs, you shouldn't overdraft for running backs. You really shouldn't, because we see guys produce all the time that are just regular dudes. They sign people off the streets that are able to produce just fine. But I've been having fun watching the combine. We saw that punter, Michael Turk, maybe. I forget what his name is, but we saw a punter from Arizona State put up 25 reps on the bench press. 25 reps of 225. There's some linemen that didn't do that, guys. That's insane from a punter. I don't know. It doesn't really need it, but he looks great. So that's good for him. The Lions and the Redskins are insane if they don't draft Tua. Haskins is a hack. Yeah, you know, when you draft somebody, when you draft a quarterback high, people are really hesitant to move off them. And then we even like question when people do, like when the Redskins, traded away Josh Rosen for Kyler Murray. Now, do I think Kyler Murray is going to be some big thing in the NFL? Not really. But I think we know that Josh Rosen, what he's likely going to be, and it's not really anything special. Kyler Murray does have a chance to be special and change the game more than Josh Rosen does. So are we going to see Washington decide, even though it's only been a year of Haskins, to move off of him and draft somebody they do think can be special? Just because you made a mistake doesn't mean you need to make two, right? You might make one mistake by drafting him that high. You're making another one if you stick with him. So Stafford might be a good fit in New England if Brady leaves. There's been a little bit of stuff going on with Detroit, like you said, like you're stating right here, Rhodes. The Lions do have a top draft pick. Are they ready to move off Matthew Stafford? Are they ready to move off Matthew Stafford? That is a good question. I don't know. Guy who's put up a lot of numbers but hasn't done a lot of winning. So we'll see. All right, now let's get into what everyone is here for. What everyone is here for. And that is the XFL. Because everybody freaking loves the XFL, don't we? Yeah, I understand he was traded from the Cardinals. That's what I'm saying is that, they drafted Josh Rosen. And they, in a very short amount of time, they decided to move off him and just go ahead and take Kyler Murray at number 1 and move away from Josh Rosen. So just because you invested a first-round pick in a player doesn't mean you have to stick with him. XFL isn't canon. Neither is the sequel trilogy. Now, we got a big game coming up. You're killing with the XFL on your channel. Hell yeah, that's good to hear. That's good to hear. I think there's a lot of people looking for more XFL stuff, and there's not a ton of it on right now. Like, there's no real big pregame shows or anything like that. But it's fun. It's fun. But we have, I think, the matchup of the year so far in the XFL. And that is this. That's this with the Houston Roughnecks and the Dallas Renegades. I think these are the two best teams in the league. I think that the Roughnecks are better than the Dallas Renegades. I think the Dallas Renegades, most people had. That would probably the team that they would pick when we came into this, with Bob Stoops, with Landry Jones, with some of the skill position players at running back that they had that people recognized. But as I've been watching, I feel like the Houston Roughnecks may have the most important thing, and that is a playmaker at quarterback. We've seen what they've been able to do. And whoops, sorry, I got to change the screen real quick. Got to change that screen. All right, there we go. We've seen what Philip Walker has been able to do with that team, making plays behind the line. Ball gets snapped past him over his head. He turns around, he runs it upfield for a touchdown. Extending plays. One of the things I've realized looking at, watching some of the defenses is I feel like the cornerback play has been very weak in the XFL so far. It's gotten better, but if those wide receivers get a little bit of time, it's kind of all over. XFL is better than the NFL. Well, that's what we're talking about right now. DD or Die Draven. I think it's going to be Houston. Betting on the Roughnecks to win it all. There you go. Roughnecks, Battlehawks, and Renegades. The Battlehawks, one of the things that I feel really cool about the Battlehawks is they just run the ball down your throat. that's what they're doing. And it's a little different than some of the other teams we've seen so far, but that's kind of what they've decided to do. But as far as this game, let's take a look at the betting matchups. So it does look like Houston is a slight favorite at Dallas. So that should tell you a lot about what everybody feels about this game as well. Whenever you're a favorite on the road, it really means you're more like a 3-point favorite on a neutral field. Now, I think that first game, Renegades only have that one loss, but that was that first game that Landry Jones did not play. So now that Landry Jones is in there, they have been better. However, they have not been as dominant, I feel, as the Houston Roughnecks have, and they're not as fun to watch either. Be interesting to see the attendance in Dallas. 17K first home game. Let's see if playing Houston, PJ Walker gives the attendance a bump. If they don't draw 17K, that would be disappointing. Yeah, I do agree with you. I agree with you. Hopefully they will. I think this is a big matchup. I think this will be fun for the people of Texas. Rhodes is out. Peace, Rhodes. Have a good one. Appreciate you hanging out. But yeah, let's take a look at the standings right now. And we were just talking about that. The Battlehawks. There you go. Now the Battlehawks, much like the Roughnecks, have that 4-touchdown difference, that 4-touchdown differential. Renegades have a 0-touchdown differential, 6 touchdowns for, 6 touchdowns against. They have not been moving the ball as effectively. But again, they did not have Landry Jones that first game, which I think is a big factor. Now, I think the LA Wildcats and the Seattle Dragons are just the absolute dumpster fires. Somehow the LA Wildcats have scored 2 more touchdowns, but they're 1-3. I'm not quite sure how. They just look disorganized when I watch them, to be quite honest. But yeah, St. Louis Battlehawks. I thought the DC Defenders were going to be the class of the East. I said that last week. I think that Cardale Jones has a chance to be, a big dude in this league. But yeah, the Battlehawks are looking solid. DC Defenders fell off a little bit last week. But this matchup here, Roughnecks, Renegades, it's going to be fun to watch. And you do have PJ Walker at quarterback. Cam Phillips, Blake Jackson, and Ray Bolden at wide receiver. Let's take a look at some of the statistics here. So this is for this is offensive leaders all throughout. So you see Phillip Walker up there a little bit, Cardale Jones, Landry Jones. Landry Jones only played 2 games. But Jordan Tamu for the Battlehawks has been slinging it too. But this is really what I'm talking about. When I was saying that the Battlehawks are going to run it down your throat, it's because you got Matt Jones and Jordan both running the ball. They are both leading the league in rushing right now. Look at that. And then Cameron Payne bringing up the next running back on the list for the Renegades. And then Cam Phillips obviously has been going off with PJ Walker throwing him that ball. We got a Sir Ruin of House Roundhead for $5. I hope the Defenders get a win today. Yes, I hope last Sunday was a fluke. Yeah, we'll have to see. I thought that they would win. I thought that they were going to win last week. Now they're playing Tampa Bay. We can actually go take a look at that game right now. Thank you for that $5 super chat, Sir Ruin of House Roundhead. Let's go take a look at this game right now, actually. Well, I wanted to look at the preview. But it's just showing this. Let's go back. Let's go back to the XFL homepage. I do kind of like their little homepage they have. Here's the preview. DC at Tampa Bay. And I would imagine, DC is a 3-point favorite, even though they're on the road. Tampa Bay's they've been fairly atrocious, to be quite honest. I do think DC is going to go in there, and I think they're going to take it pretty easily. Go back up, tie the Battlehawks for 3-1 overall in the East. I think we clearly have our separation, and we know who's going to make the playoffs at this point. I wish the Guardians the best. I know RC from the NYC, a really big supporter of the channel, really likes the New York Guardians, but I do think that the Defenders, the Battlehawks, are the class of the East, where you have the Roughnecks and the Renegades in the West, and that's probably who we're going to see when it comes down to the playoffs. But that's just me. Oh, yes, you guys are talking about BJ Daniels. That's right. They were. And, these coaches, it's an interesting thing, too. You have a mix of very experienced head coaches and very inexperienced. Some people have never really coached before ever, other than like a position coach, are now head coaches, and they have to make those decisions, like when do you pull a quarterback and stuff like that. Whereas you have guys like Bob Stoops in charge of the Renegades. Bob Stoops, one of over the past 2 decades, really well respected as a coach for what he did at Oklahoma. I was personally surprised he took this job. I think Bob Stoops could have an NFL job if he really wanted, but he decided to take a job here. When is the Defender game? The Defender game is at 7 p.m. Eastern on ESPN2 today. That's when that's happening, John. So looks like Houston and Dallas actually kicks off in about 5 minutes from now, guys. So it is on Fox Sports 1. Go to Fox Sports 1 to watch that matchup. I think it's going to be great. I'm going to have a lot of fun watching it. Enjoy it a little bit. There's two games. So it's going to be on Fox Sports 1 and on ESPN 2. So the first game is going to be the Roughnecks at the I always want to say Rough Riders because I've been thinking of Canadian football, the Saskatchewan Rough Riders, but no, it's what is it? It's the Roughnecks. The Houston Roughnecks and the Dallas Renegades will be on Fox Sports 1 in the next 4 minutes here, and then 3 hours from now, you can go to ESPN 2 and find DC Defenders. Yes, and there are some games that they are able to show here on YouTube. I don't know, Uche Nwaneri, I haven't heard from him, but he may as well be doing, oftentimes he does a stream, a little bit of gameplay commentary and things like that. So make sure you check him out, The Observant Lineman. I'm not sure what his plans are. But thanks to everybody. Stoops' family or coaches in their blood, regardless at what level. Yeah, Colin, that's what I said. I feel like he could be in the NFL. Maybe he just doesn't want the NFL, a little too much pressure. Maybe he still wants to coach a little more relaxed environment, which I think is kind of what the XFL is for him for sure. But thank you for everybody who came and hung out today. If you're not subscribed to Sports Wars, please do subscribe. We've had a couple videos take off, so we may have some new subscribers here, and I appreciate any of you that were with me. Normally, it's not just me. Normally, it's a whole panel when we go live, but there's a couple things going on with some of the other members of Sports Wars. So that's all right. They're having a lot of fun this weekend, and that is awesome. They will be back here next week. But thank you guys for being here. I appreciate the support. Really do. It's awesome getting to go live and talk about something that you love. What do I think of Cardale Jones? I don't think he's a quarterback in the NFL, but I think he could do things here in the XFL. He's got an absolute cannon for an arm, and he can make some plays with his legs. He's not fast, but he is he's not fast or quick, but he's a big-bodied dude who is tough to bring down and can slip around in the pocket a little bit, can extend plays just enough to let that big cannon of an arm do what it needs to do. That's what I think. But thanks for being here today, guys. We will talk to you next time. Have a great Sunday. And who's going to win? Go Roughnecks. Roughnecks are going to win. Peace.